All right, hey guys, what is going on? Let me adjust my. So, okay, earlier today, I asked myself, what would Marvel Rivals look like if you replaced all the characters with other characters from classic literature? Because that's what I talk about on this channel. So I went ahead, I made what I think the best version of this game could look like. So instead of the normal classes like Vanguard, Duelist, and Strategist, we've changed the names up a bit. All right, so we have guardsmen, scouts, and we have professors, but they essentially do the same role. So I don't want to talk about this any longer than I got to, because I'm really just doing this for fun. But okay, so onto Beowulf. As Beowulf fights, he builds up like brawler points, kind of like Reed Richards does his elasticity. But instead of like getting bigger and tougher, he gets more weapons and armor as he gets in the book to help him fight like the stronger and stronger foes. Because I wanted to make all of these feel like not only just like the characters, but kind of like the stories they were a part of too. So Frankenstein, uh, hand to hand brawler, but also has some like acid like spit abilities and some stuff like that too. He would probably have less health than probably more health than Beowulf. But yeah, that's the point. And I thought about giving him lightning abilities, but then I remembered that in the novel doesn't ever actually mention that he was electrocuted. And not I don't have notes for all of these characters, just the ones that I thought were like more interesting and I could think about. So Macbeth, in the lore of Macbeth, right? Anyone born of woman cannot defeat him. So to get around this, in the lore of this game, everyone is actually a clone. So they're not born of a woman precisely. They're like born in a lab. So that's how we get around that one. Otherwise, he probably has just some other abilities around being generally insane too. And then I thought this one was really funny. Humpty Dumpty. We have him as a guardsman. He actually has a lot of health. And instead of falling off the walls, now he builds them. So he's kind of like the Groot of this game, but that's all he kind of does. We have Prometheus here from Greek mythology, which has fire stuff, but also at the same time, his ultimate is where he summons vultures and then they like come down on like a character or maybe two and they like eat the liver out of like that character because that was his punishment for giving humans fire, which Prometheus, thank you by the way. Thor is literally in Marvel Rivals, so I literally just added that he's a flying character. I thought that was I just thought Thor should fly. Now we have Lenny and George. If you don't understand that, that's from Of Mice and Men. I read that in high school, but I want to do a review of Mice and Men in some time. I want to get that done. But how they work in this game is they kind of work like the Hulk. Just hear me out. Just hear me out, because I think it works pretty well. You start off in the game. You come in as Lenny, right? You're just a guy. You got a gun. Maybe he's got some kind of like rabbit that he throws that like blows up. Maybe that's like someone like his grenade. I don't know. That's the general idea, that you start as Lenny, and then like transforming into the Hulk, you switch into being George. Now, when you're playing as George, you get a bunch more health. You can start running around. You can start like hitting people. And then the Hulk's ultimate, where he just kind of gets even stronger, grabs one guy, and just really messes him up. That's exactly what Lenny does. What when he like snaps that one lady's neck, at the end of A Mice and Men, like he does that to one of the characters. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I was playing Rivals earlier trying to get inspiration for this, and that's what I came up with. Let's see what else. Okay, that's all I really have for the guardsmen. We also have Hercules and Athena as guardsmen. I don't really know that much about them, so I'm just not going to put anything right there for now. If you have any suggestions for what Athena or Hercules could do, please comment them down below. Because I couldn't think of anything specific that was cool enough to mention that they do. Okay. Captain Ahab. If you don't know who Captain Ahab is, Captain Ahab is the guy that's chasing after Moby Dick for the entire story of Moby Dick. He's trying to get the white whale. So I thought it would only be like really cool if he's got like a gun ability, he's got like a sword ability. You know, he's a pirate. He's got a peg leg. You could do something with that. But his ultimate is actually going to be summoning Moby Dick in kind of a Moon Knight esque way. And Captain Ahab is really kind of the Moon Knight of this game. Now, also someone that I thought would be a scout was Dracula. I debated really hard on some of the scouts actually being guardsmen, but I already thought I had a lot of guardsmen. So, because if we look down here, actually, I thought the Green Knight, he could be a guardsman if you really wanted him to. Also, Odysseus, he could be a guardsman, but then I thought we were getting pretty guardsman heavy, and I didn't want to do anything like. But Dracula, I want Dracula to be like the hardest, most 5-star character you can play in this game. I want him to be the most difficult to get, but then the most rewarding, and then the most effective to then play as. I also think he should be a flying character. Maybe he has limited flying, but also maybe he could just turn into a bat. Maybe he could just turn into a bat and then just like kind of dip. Maybe I'm not so sure. Okay. So right after that, we have Huckleberry Finn. I have not read Huckleberry Finn. I don't know anything about it, but like I saw some pictures and I'm like, it's just some kid. So it would be funny if you had just like all these kind of crazy characters, and then just some kid like Huckleberry Finn is just coming in here with a slingshot, just picking off people. Thought I'll place. I'm a Squirrel Girl main, kind of, so I thought it would be nice if I had another character that kind of played that way in this one. We have Peter Rabbit. I couldn't think of any abilities for Peter Rabbit. I couldn't think of anything. But then going on to Loki as one of the scouts, because we got Thor, we gotta have Loki. I think he should have like actual illusions, duplicates, invisibility to a certain level, maybe disguises. I think Loki should also be one of the more difficult characters to play as. And then I thought about this. I thought it would be really cool if he had an ultimate that if you're caught in like the area of effect, your controls are reversed for like 2 seconds. I thought that would be pretty sweet. The Green Knight, it's I don't know how you would do this one because he gets his head cut off like in the beginning of the story, and he doesn't die. He catches his head, puts it back on his torso, and is just like, all right, I'll see you in a year. So the Green Knight, he has a giant battle axe, which makes me think that will be pretty nice. The Green Knight, in all essence, should probably be a guardsman. Yeah, he should probably be a guardsman. Anyways, we're going on to one of the ones I had the more fun with, as you can see, number 16, Shapiro. So the entire time you're playing as Shapiro is the guy from The Old Man and the Sea. And I'm like, how is that gonna work in this type of a game where the whole thing is that he's old and ineffective? So I thought, what if you're looking at him, but you're actually playing as the fish for part of it? Because if you read right here, the entire time he's going around the map super fast in a canoe because the fish is tugging the boat along. So you're actually, and then I say here, it's kind of similar to Multiverse's Tom and Jerry, because every move Shapiro does is done by Shapiro trying to catch the big fish. And in his ultimate he does, but like every thing that happens is like actually like a consequence to that. I don't really know how to say it, but I think that would be really cool. Again, Odysseus could have been a guardsman, but I actually think he fits a bit better into here. He would be kind of like Namor, weirdly. He's got a spear, a bow and arrow. I think he could be the one sniper because he could be a sniper. Yeah, I couldn't think of what an ultimate for him would really be though. If you know what a good um ultimate for Odysseus could be, please comment that down below. I was racking my brain trying to think of something. Okay, and then for the professors, the like strategists, the healers, we have the Invisible Man, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Sherlock Holmes, Cinderella, Snow White, and Gatsby from The Great Gatsby. This is the one I had the hardest time coming up with things. As you can see, like I barely have anything for Snow White, Cinderella. I have nothing for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I'll go over what I could come up with. So the Invisible Man, as the battle goes on, he loses more and more of his clothes that normally cover him head to toe. And then if you read the Invisible Man book, I read part of it. I haven't finished it yet because my subscription ended on like Amazon Classics at the time, so I just didn't end up finishing that. I read like the first couple chapters, but like in the opening of the book, he's like really a jerk. He kind of like steals stuff. He's going around. He's like doing crimes. So I'm like, he's kind of like aggressive, like Wolverine. But he's like invisible and a healer. I don't know. Maybe that's probably too broken now that I'm saying it. But he's the Invisible Man. I gotta give him like a little more umph other than like just being invisible. And he's not. His clothes being removed is like the passive. Like that just happens as he's playing progressively over the match. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. He heals by dropping med packs around the map, so he's not like shooting a gun at people that's healing. He's not doing anything weird. It's kind of hard to come up with healers from like literature, but I think I think this kind of works. And the only other person I really wrote that much about was Sherlock Holmes in here. And Sherlock Holmes, he has an ability that lets him give an idea to a teammate. So, like, okay, here's the thing Sherlock Holmes has an ability where he gives what's called an idea to a teammate. And around that teammate, like visually, you can see like whether an equation or like a scribble or maybe like a magnifying glass. Let's say it's a magnifying glass and it goes circles around his head like that. You're gonna see a little thing pop up and like at your bottom ability list. And if now that you have the idea, and if you use that idea, it will let your next attack immediately do double the damage of whatever it is, not including ultimates, including like attacks. And at the same time, if Sherlock Holmes can also point out an enemy's weakness, so then they will be marked as well. And when they get hit by the next thing, they also take double the damage. So you can stack double with this character. If you give an ally an idea, and if you point out the weakness of enemy, you can deal 4 times the damage to them, which might be broken, but like that would be pretty hard to pull off. You got to be in a pretty specific situation for that to happen. But basically, like if there's a 1v1 going on, and you're the enemy, and you see the teammate Sherlock Holmes pop in for you, it's pretty much the other guy's pretty much done, and you're pretty much good, or the opposite way around. So I think that could be kind of cool. I couldn't. I thought Snow White, it would be funny if she had an ultimate where she sings with dwarves and animals, kind of like Luna Snow. I wrote down World of Glass under Cinderella. I don't know what some of this stuff means. I'm kind of forgetting what I did. But anyways, I just had a lot of fun doing this. But we're not done yet. As you might have seen me scroll below, we don't just have the characters and some of their ability ideas. We have team ups. All right, I only really came up with 4, but one of the team ups is Frankenstein, Dracula, then Doctor and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and their team up is like being the gothic group. Like that's kind of what they are. So I don't really know what these team ups do, but I just want they just have to be team ups. Like this again here. We got Shapiro, Ahab, and Odysseus. They're all known for being sea travelers, so they need to have a team up as well. I was also thinking the Green Knight and Macbeth should have a team up because Macbeth is probably pretty weak relatively to the other guardsmen. So he should have a pretty good team up with maybe the Green Knight. Because they're both like they're not immortal leaders, I guess. But they just like they can't be killed by weapons. That was like a common thing with both of them. So that's why I think that works. Then we got Snow White and Peter Rabbit are going to be teams as well. I think I'm going to have an. If I was to really do this, I would have another for just like Thor, Loki again, and probably another one for like all the Greek characters we kind of have in this. But I'm not so sure what else would be kind of there. If you want to look at this list and try to come up with what another team up could be, I'd love to see it. Maybe one with Beowulf and Thor. I don't know. I don't know. Here, down in the comments below, come up with a team up for Sherlock Holmes. How about that? Come up with a literary team up with Sherlock Holmes. And then in our last section here, we have maps and what kind of the mission area is. So like, we have the characters, we have what the team ups are. What are you guys going to be doing to actually play and try to win this? And try to win your games. How are you going to win? You're going to do one of them where you are transporting Grindel's arm to the tavern that's in Beowulf. That's a whole Beowulf section. There's just Capture London Square. London is a very popular location for a lot of literary pieces, so I knew that would be just a thing. We have getting like barrels and barrels and barrels of whale oil onto the Pequod, and into Nantucket, or like whether it's from the Pequod to Nantucket or from Nantucket to the Pequod. It would probably be from the Pequod to Nantucket because you probably have all the blubber and you're moving it now. We have a capture the mission area for Mount Olympus. Thought that would be really fun because we got a lot of Greek stuff in here already. And I'm not so sure about this one, but I realized we didn't have like just a strict castle here, and I'm like, we gotta have a castle in here. So we have deliver the Green Knight's hunting treasures to the castle. And that's really it for all the notes I kind of have down on what this game is going to be like. If you have any recommendations or something to update this, I would love to keep on updating this thing just as not like a side project. I'm not going to make an actual literature rivals game. But I think as the channel goes on, if I keep on adding to it as I read and stuff, or as you guys give suggestions on what other characters can do, I would have a grand old time with that, and I'd definitely make an update video. So yeah, that's really it right now. All right, I'll see you guys later.